Hello, everyone. This is Chad Hill, and I have Adam Setzer with me as well.
Howdy, everybody. Good afternoon.
Today, we're going to be talking about HubShout as a CRM, and this is in response to a number of threads in the forum where people have been talking about using HubShout as their own CRM for their business as a reseller. And so we wanted to walk you through today how we use HubShout as our CRM and take you through how you can use it for your own business. So first I wanted to start with just what are the key parts of a CRM are, at least in our experience. And the first one is obviously the most critical, and that's the ability to intake leads. So whether that be through your web to lead form on your website or having some sort of easy way of typing in a lead, if you get a phone call in or you get a business card for someone, you need to be able to do that up front. The next most important thing is then being able to manage all your actions and follow-up with those leads that you enter. So in addition to just having a simple Rolodex of contact information, you want to be able to set follow-up tasks, keep notes about interactions with the customer or the prospect, and really work them through the process. The same thing goes along with once they become a customer. You want to be able to keep good notes and good notes on follow-up for support tasks, anything that needs to be done, the client's requested from you. You want to be able to have a place where, again, all that history can be consolidated into one place so that regardless of the person who's on your team working on it, there aren't notebooks or separate systems that each person is maintaining. You want it all in one place for the whole company to be able to use. The third thing is management reports. So, when you take off your hat of the daily person doing the job and you want to step back as a manager and say, what does my funnel look like? Where are leads in the funnel? And where are leads coming from? You want to have management reports that can use the exact data, the same data that you're using on a daily basis to work each lead, to be able to roll that up and look at management reports. And then the final thing is the ability to seamlessly provision work. So this is where a lot of times people kind of fall down with things like Salesforce or other systems that are very good at the upfront lead management. But when it comes time to actually billing a customer and moving them into provisioning their work, they're going to another system. So our belief is that if you can get it all in one place so that regardless of whether the person is a lead, you're working towards being a customer, or someone who's an existing customer, if all that information is in the same place, it's going to give you a much easier, faster way to find out how things are going in your business. There's a few things that if you want to use HubShout as your CRM tool for your business, there's a few things you have to do in order to get started. And today I'm going to go through a number of scenarios using the BetHub's example. But before we get into that, I wanted to talk about the 4 things you'll need. The first thing is that you need to sign an MSA and have a portal set up. And my guess is that most of the people on this line are in our reseller community, so most of you already have this done. You need to create a group where all of the leads can be managed and security access for people at your company can be assigned into that security group. So you want to set up a lead security group, and then on the campaign that you're going to use to intake your leads, you need to have at least a reporting only campaign. And if you have an SEO program or something else running, that's fine. But we need an active campaign that we can use for web to lead features. And then that lead security group that you set up where all of your leads get sort of put into that bucket or that container, that lead security group needs to be identified on the campaign that you choose to use as your primary reporting campaign. And then the final component is that you need to set up users who have access to admin tasks and then also have access to the lead security group that you again identify in step 3 there under campaign. Okay, so now and if you need any help with this, please feel free to get in touch with your account manager or raise questions in the forum. We'd be more than happy to walk you through this. But I've already done these 3 steps. I'm going to show you what I've done using the BetHub's example now.
I think there will be questions, Chad, because I know that lead security group is confusing for a lot of folks. So yeah, talk to your account manager. It's just a bucket. It's a container that all your leads are going to be put into. Once you've done it once, it's pretty simple, but I know the first time there are definitely questions.
Okay, so the first thing I wanted to show everyone is that this particular account is a current reseller. So if you need some help finding that, you can click on accounts. I'm going to search for VetHubs, who's a reseller at HubShout. This is the account. And many of you are familiar with this, but this is, for example, where you can set your portal. And for example, in this case, reports.vethubs.com is the name of the portal URL. It's where we can set graphic, our logos, various colors. So this is all information that relates to essentially the visual display of this particular portal. So this needs to be in place. You need to be a reseller in our system. The second thing that you need to do is you need to then have a campaign that's been set up with a reporting only, at least a reporting only campaign. So this particular campaign, vethubs.com, which is the one that's active here. I'm going to click through it just to show you this. This particular campaign has a pay-per-click basic program and an SEO Premier program running. So along with those two services, there is a reporting only program that's built in. If for whatever reason you decide you don't have a package running on your reseller campaign, then you just need to make sure you have a reporting only. The reason for that is because we want to use the web to lead form for our lead intake, and that requires that you have at least some reporting only package on your campaign that you want to run. One other thing I wanted to point out is that I mentioned the lead security group. So as Adam said, this is really just a bucket. So when any leads come into your web to lead form, we use our security groups to decide which users can access those. So what this is saying is that any leads that come in on the VetHubs web to lead form, they should be automatically granted access to, or I'm sorry, the VetHubs demo leads security group should have access to those leads. We call those leads accounts technically. So that VetHubs demo leads is automatically going to get access to any web leads that come in. And really what that means is that users who log in and have access to that group will be able to then get to that information. Otherwise, again, we have thousands of accounts across all the different the people using the system. This is the way that we make sure that one person doesn't see another person's information. So I'm going to stay with this security group path right now and show you how I then make sure the user that I'm going to use to log in has access to this security group. So now I'm going to click on users. And I'm going to search for this, let's see. Okay, this is the demo user I've set up, VetHubs demo, chadhill@gmail.com. And we'll see here that there's a couple things I wanted to point out. One is that, again, this user has access to the VetHubs demo leads. So why is this important? Just going to reiterate this one more time. What this means is that, again, when those leads come in from the web to lead form, the VetHubs demo lead security group is going to get access to them, and then this user has been granted access to that group. So now we can connect the dots. The user will have access to any leads that come in. The other thing that you need to make sure if you're going to use HubShout as a CRM, you want to make sure that you have access to both the task screen and admin. So in this case, this user has access to both, so we're okay. Okay, so now I want to run through a couple scenarios and walk through how to use HubShout as a CRM. So the first one I want to do is I have a very basic web lead form here that would otherwise be on vethubs.com, but this is just a sample web lead form. So let's set up this scenario so that it actually makes sense. VetHubs is a business that is looking for veterinary clinics in the U.S. who are interested in having a website built for them. So the company ranks on terms like veterinary websites, vet websites, in terms like that. Someone is going to be searching for veterinary websites, come to the VetHub's website, be interested in what VetHub's has to offer, and is now going to complete a web form. They're most likely, the office manager, maybe it's the veterinarian who's going to be filling out this form, and we're going to start our process of selling to this particular customer. So I'm just going to make this up. I'm going to be the Arlington Vet Clinic, and my name is Bob Jones. Skip this info. My phone number is 703, and I'm B. Jones at Arlington Vet Clinic. Okay, and interested in your website. Okay, so I'm going to submit this lead. We get our confirmation page, and now two things are going to happen. One is that I'm going to toggle over to another browser here. Let's see here. I'll show two things. We'll start here. Start on sales. So the first thing that we'll see here is that we now see Arlington Vet Clinic from the lead that I just entered, lead form I just entered. And so I can actually click over and go into that lead from the sales screen. And I get a view of the data, the information that was collected. So this is Bob Jones, the email, the phone number. A couple fields over here that are very important if you're going to use HubShout as your CRM are things like status active and medium. Actually, that's the medium of how it came in. So in this case, this is a good lead, so I'm going to leave this active. But as we all know, there's lots of people that fill out your form that are selling you things that you don't need. So you could easily just move the status to inactive and get that out of your list. And I actually may want to set the medium to wherever that might be. So in this case, it probably came from SEO, so I'm going to do web search engine. And I'm going to update that. And this is good if you just want sort of a report on your leads, where you're getting leads, and a look at the contact information. But this is really not CRM. CRM, we want to get into the ability to now manage our response and all the activities we need to take to move this person from lead to actual customer. So if you have access to the admin tab, you'll see that this is actually hyperlinked up here, the account number 8620. So I'm going to click on this. It's going to take us over into what is called the account details screen. So again, most of our customers that are using your dashboard aren't going to have access to admin, because this is primarily something that we use, that you use to manage your accounts and that we use to manage your accounts. So you can click into admin, and a few other fields appear that are now very important. So of course we pulled over and the same data is available that was available on the last screen. But one of the interesting things that you now want to look at is you now want to start maybe making notes on this campaign. So the hierarchy of HubShout is that there are accounts and there can be multiple campaigns. Notes always belong to a campaign. So what we want to look at is now taking this particular campaign, and we're going to start looking at, we're going to want to look at the notes and also potentially manage the lead stage. So I'm now in the Arlington Vet Clinic campaign, which again, we all hope that one day, right now, if you click on services, there's no services. But our goal, your goal, we want to move this person from a campaign stage of a cold lead all the way through to somebody who is what we call closed won with active services on it. So the first thing that we're doing is we're just really looking at this lead for the first time. So the campaign stage is technically cold. Okay, and that's at this point, again, services we don't know, because they said they may be interested in a website, but we don't know, we haven't talked to them. So what I now want to start doing is managing the follow-up that I'm going to have with this particular customer. That's where you get into tasks. So I'm going to click on tasks. Now, a couple things have happened. One thing is that it's automatically remembering that I'm interested in Arlington Vet Clinic, and it's going to only show me tasks associated with Arlington Vet Clinic. And what I did is I actually removed my name because I want to see all tasks that have been associated with this particular campaign. So now I'm going to click the main task types you need to be interested in. This kind of stage of things are either general and sales. I want to look at, again, pretty much everything related, not started, in progress, completed. And I'm going to take a look at this. So now I see there's a not started task with the sales lead info for Arlington Vet Clinic. I can click into that. And I see, again, that this was the original information that was associated with the lead. I see that this came in at 12:17 today with a note saying interested in your websites. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and respond to this and just say, okay, I've completed this, and I'm going to say receive the lead. I will begin working. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and build a follow-up task, and I'm going to say schedule call a customer. Now you could sort of debate this one and say, well, you could just right from this task start calling the person and enter notes here, but I'm going to close this task and sort of schedule a separate task, which is my initial my initial phone call with the customer. So I'm just going to actually name this initial phone call. And I set that due date for today. So I'm going to hit update. I'm going to go back to tasks and just click on tasks here. Or actually you can click on inbox, either one. Okay, so now there's a couple things that have happened. I can see that that original lead information task has now been completed, and there's now a not started task for initial contact attempt, and that's assigned to VetHub's demo, which happens to be the user I'm signed in as. Okay, so now I might go in and make notes on this. Called customer. Busy. So I'm going to start this in progress. Again, some people like to create very distinct tasks where really every contact attempt is its own distinct line in that task list that we looked at a minute ago. Other people may want to sort of add more notes to one task which documents sort of the various contact attempts they've had with the customer along the way. The nice thing is that we actually give you a nice view that gives you kind of both. It shows you all of the individual task notes in any sales task that's been added to this campaign. So I can very quickly at the bottom of this see my full note history and see that there's someone was initially contacted, interested in the website. I can see that a task was assigned to VetHub's demo. I marked it complete, and now I've added a note saying, receive lead, I will begin working it. Okay. Now let's just keep going with this scenario for another second and say that we do actually now get in touch with the customer. So let's just say that talked to doctor. He would like to set up a webinar, WebEx, to review our portfolio of sites. So I'll do that. I'm going to go ahead and complete this task, and I'm going to say schedule demo, and I want to schedule the demo. I'm going to put that on my plate for tomorrow to get back in touch with his secretary and schedule that demo. I'm going to go ahead and update this. Completed this task, I'm going to update this. Let's look at our task list here. So now, again, I see kind of my history here is that I've got 2 completed tasks and 1 that's not started. But something else has happened in this one. Now, this campaign has moved from being a cold lead stage to something that I would consider a little bit warmer. This guy's actually interested, and we're going to work on scheduling a demo. So the other thing I might want to do at this point is actually go back over to admin for this campaign, okay, and go to under campaign stage and move that to warm and update this. Because now, again, I've moved this past the cold stage. This is something that I might want to be able to quickly get a management report on where are various leads in the funnel, from cold to warm to proposal to negotiation to closing. Okay, so that's that scenario. Now, I want to bounce back here and just mention that we do actually also send out a lead notification. So if you don't happen to be in your dashboard, that same lead that we entered is actually going to be sent to you via email, which with a link back to let you get back to the sales screen so that you can then pick up and start where I picked up. So, just wanted to point that out, that you don't have to be in the system. Okay.
Chad, the piece with the build the follow-up task back a couple screens ago, where you completed the task and had the system automatically build the follow-up, you went through that kind of quickly, but I think that's a really important point to emphasize here to folks thinking about using this as CRM, and it's really just a discipline piece. You never want to complete an action on a lead without having another pending event in your queue, because otherwise you end up with orphan leads. And if your marketing is working really well and there's lots of leads coming into the funnel, that means there's more leads than you could possibly keep straight in your head, and so you need the system to be tickling you when it's time to get in touch with this guy again. Chad went through that series of clicks very quickly, where he completed that task and had the system automatically build a follow-up and put it for the next day. He could have just as easily picked next week, or this is sort of a cold lead next month. That, to me, that's the number one mistake people make in their sales process, is they don't work that into their discipline. And believe it or not, after spending so much money and effort on marketing to get the leads into the funnel, they actually end up sort of abandoning them or orphaning them.
Right. That's a good. I'll go ahead and walk through that scenario, Adam, because I think I can reiterate that. So one of the shortcuts that we have, and I have not loaded an icon for myself as this user, is the ability, if you click on your icon up here in the upper right hand corner, it actually takes you to the task screen, and it sets the filters so that it shows everything that's assigned to you that is not completed. Okay, so you can see here now that before I was just seeing tasks that were related to the Arlington Vet Clinic, but it actually turns out that I've got a couple other things now on my list here, because I've got the Arlington Vet Clinic scheduled demo task, but I also have Falls Church Vet Club and New Pet Company that I also need to be looking at. And again, I see all these. I've gone in and assigned these with due dates, because when I built them, I wanted to get this account, the scheduled demo done for New Pet Company by 5/10. So I'm just going to click into this because I don't really remember what I've done on this one yet. So again, here's the notes that get consolidated. And Adam was mentioning, this is, again, one of those things when you're dealing with lots of leads, it's that startup cost of who is this person again, and where have I left this off? This is the great thing about using a CRM tool, is that you don't have to keep that all in your head. It's right here. So I can very quickly scan these notes and say, oh, that's right. Yeah, I did talk to him, and he wants me to email him some times for a demo on 5/10. So what I can do is pull up my email, pull up my calendar, and say, we can work through emails and say that I sent customer 3 times on 5/10. That would work for me. Again, everyone has a slightly different level of detail they want to add into the notes. I'm going kind of fast. You might want to put what those times were in here. But in this case, schedule demo, let's put a customer replied back and wants to talk at 3 p.m. on 5/10. So that's done. So demo has been scheduled, right? It's completed. Now, if tomorrow, for whatever reason, the demo gets canceled and I don't have a follow-up task built on this, to Adam's point, you could very easily orphan this lead. So you had a perfectly good lead who came in, you scheduled a demo. Tomorrow, when it's time to actually get on the phone, for whatever reason you're busy and the guy says, I can't do it now, you hang up the phone, you take another phone call. We all know how this happens, right? you had the best intentions, but you didn't have a follow-up task, so you didn't document that you needed to reschedule, and now you've just orphaned that lead because you'll forget about it. Now maybe you'll go back and I'll show you a different way. Maybe every once in a while you can go through and comb through your leads to make sure you haven't forgotten about any. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and schedule just a follow-up for the 11th to make sure, make notes on call results. So now I'm going to complete this, and this is also at the same time going to build a new task, though, assigned to me, due on the 11th, with the title, Make Notes on Call Results, on Demo Results. How about that? Be specific. And it's going to take me back to my task list. So now we're going to see on this that the scheduled demo task has been completed. It's not on my active task list anymore. But I do have that follow-up that I just created as a follow-up task to make notes on demo results on 5/11. And if again I see that and I'm like, gosh, that was just a bad task, I don't know what that means, I can click into this and see exactly what has been going on this particular account. And so you have the ability to work through all of your leads doing the same thing. Now let's take the scenario, though, where every once in a while you do just want to get a sense of how many leads do you have in these different buckets that we've talked about. So there's cold, there's warm, there's proposal, there's negotiate, review, and then ultimately there's closed won. So you have the ability by going back to admin and clicking on full account list. And then we have some filters here at the bottom. And so I actually want to see, in this case, well, first of all, maybe I can show you. I think I have a lot of cold leads because we've had a lot of leads we put in the system that we haven't moved through these different stages. But for the demo today, I also have two that we talked about so far, Arlington Vet Clinic and then New Pet Company. So these are two that I've identified from the various leads that are warm enough for me to move them from cold to warm. And I might want to, again, just as a, for the most part, you're going to manage this from the task list. But if you did have someone call in and you were just trying to understand where are we with New Pet Company, you can get to New Pet Company as your warm lead. You can click through. And then again, we're on the campaign detail screen. But if I click tasks from here, it's going to remember I just want to see all the tasks associated with New Pet Company. But in this case, I want to see some of the completed ones. So I'm going to click completed as one of my filters because I'm seeing not started, in progress. I also want to see completed. Make sure that I'm seeing full year of task notes. And I'll just go ahead and click that I want sales in general. So here are all the tasks that have been completed on this one. So again, if you were the manager, you had some salespeople out there, and you wanted to be able to do an occasional audit to make sure things were getting followed up on in a timely way, here's a great way to be able to do that. Now, at some point, let's go back to our admin screen. And let's just say that things have gone really well with the Arlington Pet Company, Arlington Vet Clinic. And actually, we've moved this from warm to we got a proposal out. Again, some more tasks were created to get through the proposal phase. And now we're, as part of the proposal, I might even have gone in at that point and checked some of these options. This guy's going to be on probably going to be on a local 2, and he may even want a little pay-per-click. So, I would have picked those different options and started filling in some of these fields. And I think most of you guys are familiar that once you get on any one of these campaigns you're running through your portal here, that when you're ready to begin work, if you just click approve on next screen, close approve SOW, the work is going to begin on our side. So the really nice thing here is that really you can build your whole SEO pay-per-click online marketing lead and ultimately provisioning right into the same tool. And so, you're not having to remember, oh, I got the signature on this, but now I need to go and handle some other part before I can get it over into the HubShout system. So, we've built this kind of end-to-end so that you can use it this way. Now, again, we use it this way every day, and so because we're in the same business as you in terms of selling the same types of products and services, we're able to extend this to you and have you basically use the same platform that we built for ourselves. Okay, so that gives you an idea of again, working it through the various lead stages. And then I think from there, we all know that once you have a approved, signed off account, then that's where, again, where taking it sort of all the way through the life cycle of the account, now you can actually support this account right in the same tool as well. So now if you had a call come in, you've signed up, let's just call VetHubs as one of the active campaigns here. So that's technically is our own account. But let's just say we had activated Arlington Vet Clinic and they were running their local 2, and they call in with a question about, or their pay-per-click program, they call in with a question about how many leads they're getting this month, or they want more leads next month, or want to change their budget. Now we have the ability right here, again, as part of this overall CRM platform, to very quickly come in, pick their program they have a question about. It's about their pay-per-click program, and maybe you make a note, which is need to change budget for June to $500. Okay, and you can put a note in there, hit submit support request, and then that's going to get routed to the analyst who's actually managing that particular pay-per-click campaign, or the account manager who's responsible for the SEO campaign. So I think that takes me through the scenarios that I wanted to talk about today. And Adam, I don't know if we've had any questions come in, that any scenarios we want to walk through.
We did have a couple questions. They were all along the same lines. What is the reporting only plan for SEO? Is it possible to use this without your services? I've had 3. They were all pretty much the same thing. I don't know if you want to address that.
Yeah, I think that the reporting only plan is essentially bundled into any service plan you have with us, or it's $40 a month for one account. We do have some price breaks as you get more business with us. So I'm trying to think, Adam, if there's a way to use this without having reporting only. I mean, technically, the reason you need the reporting only is to use the web to lead form. If you just wanted to use tasks and manually enter leads, I don't actually think you would even need reporting only, but it just would require you, actually, probably one scenario we should walk through is in any case where you have a business card and you want to just add in a new account, a new lead, you have the ability to click to enter that information right here, and then that would be entered as a lead as well.
Good. And one follow-up was, do I have to pay for every client of mine, or can I just have this running for my agency? And I'm not totally clear if that question is about using CRM for themselves. I think it is. So I think we just clarify that we want our reseller partners to be using this and make that very, very inexpensive, because we think it'll make you more efficient at selling. We can coach you on it. We can help you find the discipline, which is often hard to get nailed down, to really be efficient at closing deals at high volume.
Right. So the answer to that question is that you only need this for your own. Again, you can use everything I've showed you except for the web to lead form without even having a reporting only package. But I think for most of us, the web to lead form is a pretty important part of it. And once you get into web to lead form with email marketing, I mean, these are the things that are going to help build the leads coming into the funnel in the first place. So we have a lot of tools bundled into the reporting only program or plan that will really be the things that without having those, it's going to be hard to even get leads coming in the front door in the first place. So we would recommend setting up a reporting only program for yourself. And again, that just gets you access to sort of all these other tools that we built to help manage email and manage leads coming into the system. Your customers don't need to pay for each person, or once you enter a lead, you don't have to pay anything for that lead information to be in our system. What would happen is that the point at which you would pay would be if one of those customers or leads ultimately decided to buy services from you, then you would sign an SOW and we would start work on it.
Great, thanks. That wraps them up, Chad.
Great. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. We've recorded this. We'll post it out on the website, and we should have, I wanted to also say before we close that this is something that we're actively working on. In fact, we've been working on some improvements around the call tracking so that you can actually have a more seamless connection between a phone call coming in and building out a lead account. So there's a number of other enhancements that we're making to continue to evolve our CRM capabilities, not only for ourselves and for our reseller partners that are in this business of online marketing, but also for your end clients so that they can use HubShout and the same way that we said that it's so critical, the follow-up to actually seeing success and positive ROI from online marketing programs. It's not just about the rankings or even the traffic, but it's about the follow-up and actually seeing those deals through to closing them. So if we can help build tools that make it easier for your customers and you to help your customers manage that, then we see that as a real big opportunity to sell more services, for you to sell more services and retain people over a longer period of time. So with that, thanks again for attending today, and we'll get this out on the website.
And please continue the conversation with us in our forum and share your ideas, and we look forward to seeing you there before the next webinar even. Thanks so much.